Hello, welcome. I am going to do a half-hour gentle floor-based yoga session. This is really good for anyone who's new to yoga, who's recovering from any injuries, or if you're slightly older and you think that some of the yoga poses are too much. This is a really nice gentle introduction. So this is a gentle yoga session which is about half an hour long, and it's mainly floor based. So we're going to start by lying on our backs, and you want to have the knees bent up to the ceiling with your feet about hip width apart, and just gently allow your head, neck and shoulders and your spine to be flat. And close your eyes, resting your hands on your abdomen, just breathing deeply in and breathing deeply out. And this is a really good way to start with yoga, focusing on the breath. We want to inhale, push the hands and stomach up and out, and then slowly exhale, resting your hands still on your stomach, but allowing your stomach and hands to deflate and drop back down. So as you inhale through the nose, count to 4, your hands and stomach push up. As you exhale for the count of 6, your hands and stomach deflate and drop back down. So just practice this for a few breaths, breathing in, breathing out. While we're here, resting down, let's just roll the head from side to side. So with yoga, you don't need to force anything. It's very much about resting and relaxing, especially with our gentle restorative yoga. It's about listening to the body. We don't want to force or strain anything, and nothing should be painful, and you are welcome to rest at any point. Bring the head back to center and hug the knees in. This is brilliant first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and for any old injuries. Keep your right knee hugged in and let your left foot drop back onto the ground. You have a choice of either letting your leg go straight, or if that's too much, keep it bent. And if you have a belt, a dressing gown belt at home, loop it over your right foot and just gently pulse backwards and forwards. If you don't have a belt, you can just rest your hands on the back of the thigh and pulse backwards and forwards. So you have a choice of the left knee being bent or straight, and either with your right leg being nice and straight, holding the back of the right thigh, or finding a belt, a dressing gown belt is perfect, and just pulsing backwards and forwards. And this is really, really helpful. It's like an extension to our arms, and we just want to press the lower back into the ground. Let the leg do all the work, and if you want to work a little bit harder, bend the toes towards you, but just take it gently. You might find the back of your hamstrings feel really tight, but if you persevere with your yoga practice, it really does get quite a lot easier. So remembering to breathe in, remembering to breathe out. Now have the leg nice and straight, and if you can, either climb up your belt, or if you don't have the belt, climb up your leg. It doesn't matter if you're just lifting up an inch, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to work a little bit harder, just visualize your nose towards your shin, looking up, lifting up, breathing in, breathing out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then hug that right knee in and take a big deep breath in and sigh it out. Let's do some little circles anti-clockwise. So imagine that you're just drawing the outline of a circle with your knee. Try a few times anti-clockwise, and then try a few times clockwise. So we're just breathing in, we're just breathing out. You can keep these circles really small and slow, or if you want to work harder, stretch out wider. Take up as much space as you can. And you can decide how far you want to stretch, and remember, you can rest at any point. Let's hug that right knee in again. Take a big deep breath in and sigh it out. That's really, really good for the opening out of the tight hips. Can you bring your right arm out and extend, having the palm facing the ceiling with your left hand on your right bent knee? And all we want to do is gently pull the right knee over to the left-hand side of the room. And it doesn't matter how far you stretch, even if you're just moving a couple of millimeters, you're giving your lower back a beautiful stretch. This is really good for niggles, aches and pains. And remember, the longer and slower and deeper we breathe, the more we can slowly drop down. And little by little, week by week, month by month, you'll find that the knee will eventually drop down. This is a fantastic stretch for the lower back, and you can really feel that great opening out of the sacral area and the lumbar region of your spine. If anything's painful or too much, just ease off and relax. Let's hug the knee in, take a big deep breath in and sigh it out. And with yoga, we stretch deeply in one direction, deeply in the other. Let's bring our right foot onto the ground and just open out the knee and the hip. So it almost looks like the number 4. The sole of the right foot is just gently pressing the inner thigh of your left leg. And this opens out the hip, opens out the pelvis, and let's stretch the hands and arms long and tall. Stretching, pointing, opening and releasing, breathing in, breathing out. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Hands and arms forward, bend both knees. Let's do the same stretches on the left side. Hugging the left knee in. While we do that, we really want to press the lower back into the ground. You can rotate the left foot and ankle if you want to, and your right knee can either stay bent, or if you want a stronger stretch, you can lengthen the right leg as well. So either with a dressing gown belt, loop it over the sole of the foot with your left leg pulsing backwards and forwards, or if you don't have that, you can just gently hold behind the left thigh, pulsing backwards and forwards. And any inverted posture like we're doing now is fantastic for the lymphatic system, brilliant for the blood and the circulation, really, really good for getting everything moving and flowing. So pressing the lower back into the ground, we're breathing in, we're breathing out, and then climbing up the leg. So either holding onto the belt or hands as high up the leg as possible, nose towards the shin. Looking up, lifting up, and just checking that you're not holding your breath or clenching your jaw. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, and hug the knee in. Take a big deep breath in and sigh it out. Let's do some little anti-clockwise circles with the left knee. And if you want to make them bigger, you can stretch that a bit further. And then a few times in the other direction. So we're just increasing mobility into the hip area. And we're also increasing the blood flow and flexibility as well. Try a few times in the other direction. And then hugging the knee back in. Bring your left arm now out so it's extended, palm facing up, right hand on that left knee, and gently pulling the knee over towards the right hand side of the room. So it crosses over the body. Now you might find your arm wants to lift up. We really want to glue it down. And it really doesn't matter if that bent left knee wants to stay up. It doesn't matter if you just move a few millimeters. But little by little, it will slowly begin to soften. And we really want to breathe deeply and let the body guide us. This is such a fantastic twist and squeeze for the organs, and it really opens out the lower back. And we all have some areas of the body which are tight or are a bit vulnerable. You might have some old injuries, you might have scar tissue, so be kind to yourself. Listen to your body and just sink and soften into it. And think of every pose as being like a journey rather than a destination. We're not trying to push and pull as far as we can go. We want to soften into it. So it might take a few minutes. It might take a little bit of focus on the breathing. And then we can just relax into it. Rolling on the back. And then bringing your left foot down, tucking your left foot into the inner thigh of your right leg. Allow the hip to open out, allow the knee to open out, and stretch the hands and arms long and tall. So we're just breathing in, we're just breathing out. And then slowly bring the hands and arms forward, bend the knees. So all we're going to do to start with, keep the head, neck and shoulders down, keep the lower back on the ground, arms alongside the body, and just tilt your hips forwards and backwards. So you're not getting lift off, but you're just connecting with the lower vertebrae going down towards the tailbone. And this is the area of our spine that can often feel quite tight, quite locked up. And this feels so nice just to really stretch and release. Either stay like this, just tilting the hips forwards and backwards. It's nice and gentle, but really effective. Or if you want to, you can continue inhaling, rolling up. At your highest point, hold, and then slowly rolling down. Inhaling, rolling up, and slowly rolling down. Slow and controlled. This is fantastic for flexibility of the spine. Really, really good if you are suffering from old injuries, niggles, aches and pains. And it doesn't matter how far you stretch, it's absolutely fine just to move a couple of inches. If anyone can, squeeze, lift and hold. Just make sure that you're not holding your breath or clenching your jaw. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Just lift as high as feels comfortable. If you want to lift up further, you can do. Otherwise, you can roll down and then slowly roll down. Let's hug those knees in. Take a big deep breath in and sigh it out. Fantastic. Can we come onto all fours? So what we want to do to begin with is have our hands and knees a little bit wider than our body. So if you haven't got a mat, if you're doing this on a towel or a rug or on a piece of carpet, just have your hands and knees a little bit wider than your body, and then see if you can do some lovely little circles. And all we're doing is just opening out and releasing. And this feels so good to do. There might be a part of your circle which just feels a little bit tight, and that's normal. Breathe into those tight areas and try a few times in the other direction. So we're just breathing in, we're just breathing out, we're just opening and releasing. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Another lovely one to do is just to fold back over the heels. Have your big toes touching and slide your arms forwards, dropping your chest down towards the ground. And obviously it doesn't matter if you don't touch the ground, but but that's where we're sending our intention. So the knees are wide, the big toes are touching, and we want to imagine that we're trying to bring our chin and chest down to the ground with our arms long and tall out in front of us. It feels really, really lovely to do. And let's do a really nice little twist. Remember how good the twists are for the body. This is called the threading the needle. Sliding your left arm underneath your right and then resting the side of your head on the ground. Keep both arms straight. Close your eyes, breathing in, breathing out. Hold every pose for the minimum count of 10. The longer the better. And let's swap sides. Left arm forwards, right arm underneath. And just slowly, slowly resting the right side of your head down onto the ground. So we're breathing in, we're breathing out. We're just opening and releasing. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Let's push up onto all fours. So what we want to do is have our hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and our spine is straight. And all we're doing is rolling up and rolling down. Now if you have bony knees or the ground is quite hard, you can of course have cushions, blankets or anything else that softens onto the ground. So you are absolutely welcome. I have a few blankets here, and what you would want to do is either for both knees or one knee, just have the blanket underneath, and it just makes it so much more comfortable. Sometimes people want the blanket under their hands. So if you want a blanket, please do get one, and they are quite useful, even if at the end it's just to rest your head on or cover yourself. So all we're doing is rolling up and down, continuing and progressing this lovely opening out of the tight spine. We're going to do something called the pigeon, which might look challenging if you've not done it before, but actually it's really good for you. Fantastic for treatment and prevention of sciatica, and it just feels really lovely to do. So what you want to do is come onto all fours, slide your right knee forwards and your left leg back. Now if you've got any hip issues, you might want to keep your foot directly tucked underneath you. If you can, wiggle your foot across the mat, slide your back leg back a bit further if you can, and just fold down. Not only is this fantastic for opening out the tight gluteal muscles, treatment and prevention of sciatica, it also helps us breathe more deeply. Now if you're new to yoga or haven't done yoga for a little while, I often see people not being able to get down very far. That's fine, don't force anything. You might find that you want to just rest on your forearms or on a pillow or a blanket, but little by little it will get easier, and then you'll be able to make a little pillow with your hands. So don't force anything, but it's a gorgeous restorative pose, and it's also, as I said, helpful for us breathing more deeply. It puts a little bit of pressure on that solar plexus area, which is just below the breastbone. And the solar plexus is the seat of our emotions. It's also where we store tension. It's the seat of our body's batteries as well. Sometimes you can feel a knot or butterflies in there. So by leaning and putting a little bit of pressure on there with your front knee, it really helps open out those tight knotted muscles. Take a big deep breath in and sigh it out. And then if you want to, you can push up into seated pigeon, which is a nice counter stretch. You may find that you have to bring your hands flat, but you want to work towards just gently having your fingertips down. You want to squeeze this lower back area, tilt your chin, pull the shoulders down. So it's a lovely little crescent move for your spine. Bring the hands flat, back onto all fours, arching and rounding. And you might want to fold back into child pose just for a few moments. The arms are alongside the body. It's a wonderful restorative pose. You're folded over your heels. This is brilliant if you're feeling a bit tired, a bit depleted and worn out. You can hold that for as long as you like. Let's do the pigeon on the left side. Slide the left knee forwards, slide the right leg back. If there are any hip issues, just stay as you are. Otherwise, wiggle your foot across the mat, slide the back leg back, and just fold down. Remember to breathe, not hold the breath. Sinking, softening, relaxing. Big deep breaths in and long, slow, deep breaths out. And yoga is so beneficial for anyone of any age. And it's something which works not just on a physical level, but also mentally and emotionally. It really is enhancing for our well-being. It cancels out the stress hormones, it cancels out the adrenaline and the cortisol, and instead it gives us the positive well-being endorphins around the body. So it's really, really good for us. It's been a proven antidepressant, and equally it can help us sleep more deeply, have better quality of sleep, and it can really help with everyday standing, walking taller, less pain in our shoulders. Just generally we have a greater sense of physical, mental and emotional well-being. Let's push up into seated pigeon, tilting the chin. Arching backwards. If it's too much, just lean forwards. Always listen to the body, and there's no pass or fail, and there's no obligation to do anything, and certainly no competition or comparison with anybody else. Can you bring both legs forward? So the seated forward bend is brilliant as a nice counter stretch to what we were just doing with our lower back squeeze of the seated pigeon. So either lift your arms up, keeping a nice straight spine, drop your hands down, or if you've got your dressing gown belt to hand, lift your arms up tall, take a big deep breath in. As you breathe out, lasso the belt over your feet, keep the spine straight and then fold down. So it really doesn't matter if you're finding this is really quite tight, just to stay upright. You can just lean forwards and backwards, that's absolutely fine. And if you're very tight in your hamstrings, you're often tight in the lower back. It's much better to have a straight spine than collapse down. We really want to keep the shoulders down away from the ears and keep that spine really nice and straight. And then little by little, the more you practice it, the longer you hold it, the more you'll be able to sink and soften down. If anyone's feeling really flexible, you can even touch your toes. Let's hold it for a little bit longer. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Come and sit facing forwards. Now if it's not comfortable sitting cross-legged, you can have one leg out or even both legs out. So whatever feels comfortable for you. You might even want to sit on your blanket. It can be a little bit softer, or a block, or a cushion or pillow. So either sitting on the ground or a blanket, legs are wide or together, or if you can, sit cross-legged. We want to sit on our left hand. That pulls the left shoulder down. Lift the right arm up to the ceiling and then gently pull the head over to the right hand side. And it's a really good stretch for the trapezius muscles going down the neck and across the shoulders. And if you want to, you can tilt your chin forwards as well. So it's a really lovely stretch. Breathing, holding, opening. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Swapping sides. Sitting on the right hand, pulling the right shoulder down, lifting up the left arm and then gently pulling the head over. So it's a really good stretch, this time for the right side of the neck and the shoulders. And if you want to, you can tilt your chin forwards as well. You get slightly different muscles getting a nice stretch. Another nice one to do is hands on the back of the head and tilting the chin forwards. And this stretches the neck, the cervical vertebrae. Breathing in, breathing out. So we still want to keep the spine straight. Sometimes it's quite tempting just to collapse. Slowly, slowly come up and relax down. Let's roll those shoulders. You might hear or feel some clicking going on. And then hunching the shoulders up, slowly rolling down. Hunching up, slowly rolling down. We're going to do a seated side bend. So just bring your left hand down to the ground with your right arm up and just bring the right arm over the head. Your left arm can be bent or straight, or you may even be able to drop your forearm onto the ground. Look up to the ceiling, feel that really lovely stretch in the right hip and the right ribs, and slowly push up, swapping sides. So this time the left arm's pointing up to the ceiling, trying to touch the ceiling, and then bringing the left arm over the head. So the key with the seated side bends is to look up rather than down so we don't collapse, and keep your heart and chest facing the opposite wall. So the arm can be straight or bent, and we want to hold it for the minimum count of 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly coming up. Let's roll those shoulders again. Another nice one to do is one hand on each shoulder. Do some little circles. And this opens out the whole of the upper part of the body, the shoulder blades. It opens out the chest as well. Elbows wide, elbows together. Elbows wide, elbows together. Another nice one is butterfly stretches across. Sitting upright and tall, we're just breathing in, we're just breathing out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Interlock the fingers and push the palms away. Lift the arms up tall, stretching the arms, stretching the spine up to the ceiling, as tall and as high as you can. This opens out the wrists, it opens out the fingers. Very good for arthritis. And then slowly bringing the arms down. Another one to do is to bring the backs of the hands together and push. Very good if you've been doing lots of weight-bearing exercises. And then give yourself a nice big hug. Can anybody just roll forwards? Can anyone, if you're in sitting cross-legged, bring the hand onto the opposite knee? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up, rolling the shoulders, and then bring your hands behind you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Can you catch hold of your opposite wrist behind you? If that's really comfortable, you can bring your hand to the opposite elbow. And just notice what it does to your posture. It's really, really good for helping you sit upright, opening out the shoulders. So we're slowly coming towards our gentle little half-hour session. I hope you've enjoyed it. We started off on the back, just stretching the legs, the hamstrings, the backs of the legs, doing some lovely twisting poses, also rolling up and down, which is great for the spine. Then we were on all fours and we did our pigeon pose. And you can mix up, you can add, change, amend anything that you've been doing. So I will be doing another time a gentle yoga class which is for standing and balancing. Today was more floor-based. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe, please like, please share. Thank you very much for joining in, and I hope to see you again soon.